Welcome back, everybody, to the Meeple Marathon and our continued coverage of our half marathon to Halloween. So today we're going to be playing a scenario of Arkham Horror the card game. This is one of Fantasy Flight's living card games, and some might say their most successful living card game, but Marvel Champions is certainly catching up to that. This one came in after Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and everybody feels like they got a lot of things right. And this plays very differently than Marvel Champions. You're investigating locations. There's not necessarily a lot of action. There's a lot more, you could say, thwart or investigating. So for those of you that have seen Marvel Champions on my channel or any other channel, you might see some similarities. Just a brief overview of how the game is played. And actually, before I get into that, I do just want to say that this is the fourth Mythos pack in the Dunwich Legacy campaign. So obviously there are some spoilers. If you care not to see what is involved in the middle of the Dunwich Legacy campaign, I won't be offended if you turn away now. But this is the Undimensioned and Unseen Mythos pack for the Dunwich Legacy. This just happened to be the one that I was on when the time came to play Arkham Horror, which seemed like an excellent choice for the Halloween half marathon. So this is the one we're going to show off today. So that being said, disclaimer aside, spoilers ahead. Okay, so Arkham Horror the card game, essentially it's almost like an action selection game. You get 3 actions when it is your turn, and you can see I'm playing a two-handed game. My first player here is Jenny Barnes, and so Jenny Barnes, who's the debutante, her special effect is I can collect 1 additional resource during each upkeep phase. She has a special effect if she draws the star Mythos token, and here are her stats for conducting, things like attacks, agility tests, lore, and the such. So those numbers are important, and we'll see those here in a second. My other character here is Rex Murphy. He is the reporter, and Rex Murphy's thing is that if he basically crushes a skill test at a location, he can discover a clue automatically at that location. He's also got 4 lore. Jenny was basically 3 across the board. You can see he's much better at investigating than he is at fighting. But essentially, these 2 characters each have a specific deck, just like Marvel Champions. And I have drawn some cards from that deck, and you can see that the cards have numbers up here in the corner, and these are the costs that it's going to take to play these cards. And these are the resources that I will use to pay said cost. So when it's my turn, I can choose to do things like move from one location to the next. I can choose to, play cards from my hand. I can choose to, I don't have any. Okay, so here is a card where there's an action symbol on the card. So when I have this out, I would go from 4 to 5 lore automatically, but anytime I want to, I can take one of my 3 actions to gain 2 resources. So that is something else you can do. And then you can investigate a location. That is simply testing your lore value against the shroud value of the location. And as long as you beat that, you gain a clue from that location. And you can also then attack or attempt to evade enemies at that location. So the main enemy, or not the, I guess yes, the main enemy that starts out on the board for this scenario is the Brood of Yog-Sothoth. This is a monster abomination. It's massive, which I'm pretty sure means it's not going to move at all. Doesn't have the hunter keyword or anything like that. But you can see he gets bonus health, and he cannot be damaged except by using an esoteric formula ability, which is right here. And here you can see that basically we want to put clues onto the brood in order to defeat it, and then we have to use that card. So we're gonna have to go around and figure out how we can acquire some of the esoteric formula. I do already have the powder of Ibn Ghazi, which is basically allowing me to place clues on these monsters ahead of time. I have four, essentially, 4 rounds I can use. So that's what those tokens are for. And anytime you conduct a skill test or an attack or anything like that, where you are comparing your number versus the number on the card or the enemy, you have to draw from this token bag here. And I'm just going to draw a couple out. You only would normally draw one. But there's no dice in the game. So this is where the randomness of the game can come into effect. So you can see there are several tokens here in the bag. Some of them, a lot of them are negative. So here's a -4, 1, 2. This would be pretty crushing. There's a 0. There are some positives. So if you're behind, there is a possibility of you making it. But then you'll notice, let's just put these two aside, that there are 2 symbols in my hand that don't have a number on them. Well, this one is an automatic fail. So just know that it's the big red one. There's also the automatic success, which is the star symbol. Or actually, no, it's not automatic success, but it gets you the bonus on your card. And then the other one is this hooded figure symbol. Well, you can, if you look at our card here, each scenario, each Mythos pack comes with its own card that tells you what happens when you draw these specific tokens out of the bag. So in this case, it would be reveal another token if you fail this test, take 1 horror. So these rules are always unique to the Mythos pack, and those come into play when we draw a specific non-numbered token like this. So that red one is bad, it's an automatic failure. The -4 would be pretty devastating. And that's it. So let's go ahead and play through a round. And we'll start with Jenny Barnes here. Now, we started in location, and these 2 cards here represent our characters. When I've completed my 3 actions for a character, I'm supposed to flip it over. I'll probably forget to do that a lot, but that will signify that she is exhausted. So there's some flavor text on here. I'm not going to read all of that just for the sake of time. So here we're at the Dunwich Village. I got to flip it over since we are at this location, it's just where we started. So you can see the shroud value here in the Dunwich Village is 2. So my lore has to defeat this 2. But if I have a lore of 4 and then I roll a -4, obviously I'm losing. And this one here tells me how many clues are at this location. Sometimes this symbol has a little head next to it. That would mean that it's 3 times the number of players, but this just means 3. I can resign from the entire game or from the entire scenario here. It says you would hide from the creature, or I can take an action from the Dunwich Village. I can move a brood of Yog-Sothoth enemy once toward Dunwich Village. Now, how you go about moving from one location to the next is that you have to look at these symbols on the bottom. So these 3 symbols here are where I can go to from Dunwich Village, which just happens to be, if you see how I've set up the board here, that I can go to the Gold Spring Glen, I can go to the Blasted Heath, and I can go to Ten Acre Meadow. I do not have the maroon with the plus sign on it, so I cannot go from here to here, and I do not have that symbol. So from Dunwich Village, I can only go to here. Now from here, you can see that I could go back to Dunwich Village. I could go down and I could go over, but if I'm in the 10 Acre Meadow, I cannot go up here. Same thing for down here. These 2 are connected. And there's an arrow going from here to here, but again, these 2 locations are cut off. These 2 locations up here can only be accessed from Dunwich Village, and then from Blasted Heath to Devil's Hop Yard. And once you decide to take an action to move into a location, you flip it over. You add the necessary tokens. In this case, we will add 3 clue tokens, which are these green symbols here. And now we'll go ahead and start. So, all right. It's not Rex's turn yet, so we can't put a clue onto the brood. And you can see here that the brood has an attack strength of 6. We'll reduce that by putting clues on it, but then also has 1 health, essentially, that it needs to get knocked out, but it's getting a bonus health of +1 per investigator, so it actually has 3. So we need to damage this thing 3 times in order to get rid of it. So I don't think I want to take an action to draw it to our village. Sorry, I dropped a card. You can also see on the bottom here, for those of you unfamiliar with the game, that if this thing were to attack me, I don't have any defense, no rolls or anything like that. If this thing is able to attack me, I simply take 2 wound and 2 horror. So this is like physical wounds, and this is like mental trauma. Jenny here can take 8 physical and 7 trauma. Rex can take 6 physical and 9 trauma. If they reach those numbers, they are knocked out of the game. So you can go insane, or you can bleed to death. Again, this is kind of a spooky game. So there is an element of horror to it. It's called Arkham Horror for a reason. So, all right. So in my hand, I have a few things here that would be very handy to play. One is an ally. So Dr. Francis Morgan here would give me right off the bat an additional +1 in a fight. After I defeat an enemy, I can exhaust him to draw a card, and he also can take damage and horror for me. So since he's walking around with me, he can kind of be a human shield and soak up some of this damage. But if we ever reach these numbers on him, then he's knocked out of the game. He would cost me 3 resources to get out there. The other one that would be good to go ahead and get out is the Switchblade here. But the Switchblade is fast, which means I can bring it out at any time. I can bring it out essentially when someone's attacking me. And I get +2 for this attack. If you succeed by 2 or more, this attack deals +1 damage, which is nice. So I could go ahead and pay to get this out there, but it's not really necessary at the moment. So I'm going to take an action. I'm going to pay 3 resources to get Dr. Francis out here. Then I am, let's see here. Again, I have a lower value of 3. The shroud value on this location is 2. Now I can boost that value by adding things like this card here, which has this lower tiny symbol up here. Sorry, I was reading the text. I could play this for free. I don't have to pay the 2. I have to pay the 2 to do what's down here at the bottom, which I'm reading is quite nice. Deal 2 damage to an exhausted enemy at your location. And the brood of Yog-Sothoth here has to be exhausted in order to put clues on him. So I might need to double check whether or not I could use this on a brood of Yog-Sothoth. Because this would be very helpful. I would not want to just simply use this card to get these bonus resources up here. So, and then I don't have any other lore attributes in my hand. So I have taken action by putting down Dr. Francis Morgan. I could go ahead and take an action to try and find a clue, but that's not really my bag. So I'm going to go ahead and have Jenny advance here across the map, and she's going to unlock 10 Acre Meadow. So you can see 10 Acre Meadow is also going to get 3 clues. It also has a shroud value of 2, And anytime you set a bait using a live animal, each investigator in 10 Acre Meadow may place one of his or her clues on an abomination enemy in 10 Acre Meadow. Okay, so I would have to get the brood into 10 Acre Meadow. Then exhaust him. Oh no, I just have to get him there. But the trick is that if I put it there, I either need to then attempt to attack him with the esoteric formula or evade him and get the heck out of the way. So definitely some strategy here. So we're now here in 10 Acre Meadow. Let me put 3 clues out there. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, so at this point, I really don't... Well, do I want to just open up another location here? I could go ahead and travel to Watley Ruins. It's not locked in any way. I need to figure out how I get an esoteric formula in my hand. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's just move on, keep moving on here. And so you can see this shroud value is even higher. It's going to get 4 clues. It says each investigator in Watley Ruins gets -1 thought value, intelligence value. Hurl a nearby canister of paint at the monster. An investigator in Watley Ruins may place up to 3 of his or her clues on an abomination enemy in Watley Ruins. Group limits once per game. Okay. So more clues coming out. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and again, I've not figured out any way to get esoteric formula into my hand. That's the only way I can defeat these guys. I also need to be able to exhaust them in order to use powder or any of these other ones. So that was my 3 actions for Jenny. So I'm gonna flip her over now. And let's move on to Rex. We take both investigators before we take an enemy phase. So, what do we want to do with Rex? The Necronomicon here is an excellent card that I think I'm going to go ahead and pay to get out there. This is a card I earned in an earlier part of the campaign. If you succeed, instead of discovering a clue at your location, discover a clue at a connecting location. Barricade. All right, so I am going to go ahead and put down the Necronomicon for 2 resources. And this is now giving me 5 total lore. So I think at this point, I'm going to attempt to investigate. 5 to 2 means there's only 2 tokens in this entire bag that can keep me from failing. That's the -4 and the automatic fail. So what do we pull? +1. So you can see here that there's positive numbers in there. So as my second action, I investigated, I beat the shroud value. So I now take a clue and add it to my card. I might as well start collecting up some clues. It seems that collecting up clues, getting them onto the abominations is kind of the way to go. All right. So again, our third action is also going to be to investigate. We are still at 5 to 2, and we drew this card. So this is a point where we need to check it against this. This one says -3, so I'm actually still winning because I gained the tie. If this token is revealed during an attack or evasion attempt against a brood of Yog-Sothoth, it immediately attacks you. Well, it wasn't. It was simply an investigation. And so I was successful, even with the -3. And there we go. But see, I was just barely successful. If I had not gotten the Necronomicon out there, then I would have been unsuccessful. And something like that, you can't, nothing happens to you. There's no negative fail for a investigation. So, all right. Both of my guys have gone now, so now we move on to the enemy phase. So enemies with the hunter keyword move toward nearest investigators, but neither of these guys have the hunter keyword, so they're actually just going to stay put for now. Again, I need to figure out how to move them into these other locations without, Dunwich here says I can move them toward Dunwich, but this can go directly from here to here. So, all right, any engaged enemies? There are none, so none of us get attacked. Now the upkeep phase. Essentially, if I had used any cards here, I would ready them. I haven't. And so all that really needs to be done is each investigator gains a resource. So Rex is going to get 1, but Jenny, her special ability is that she gains 2. And each investigator draws a card. So art student, I can bring her in and she can discover 1 clue at my location immediately. At that point, after that, then she's really just cannon fodder, cheap cannon fodder, but she's basically like paying 2 resources to automatically gain a clue. And Jenny Barnes has prepared for the worst. Search the top 9 cards of your deck for a weapon asset. Add it to your hand, shuffle the deck. So Jenny has these twin 45 caliber little pistols that are very, very handy for her to have. So again, it's only searching the top 9 cards, but that is specifically why we have prepared for the worst in there. Okay, if I had more than 8 cards, I would have to draw down, but I'm almost certain I don't. So we move on to the Mythos phase at this point. We have to add a doom to the agenda. So you can see the agenda is 5 here. And let's read these real quick. We didn't really introduce the scenario. Reports of terrifying entities wreaking havoc across the countryside have caused the citizens of Dunwich to panic. Worse, the creatures seem to be invisible to the naked eye. At the end of the enemy phase, move... Okay, I didn't read this. Should have maybe read this. Move each brood of Yog-Sothoth enemy once at the end of the enemy phase, once toward a random location. At the end of the enemy phase, move each brood of Yog-Sothoth enemy once toward a random location. Okay. And this says Saracenic script. The monsters tearing through Dunwich County are immune to traditional weapons. Only by reciting a particular incantation can the creatures be defeated. First, you must search the ruins of Wilbur. Oh, ruins of Wilbur Watley's home, which are right here. Okay. In order to find the final sections of the otherworldly scripts. Only investigators at Watley Ruins may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. And the clues in this situation are 2 per investigator. So I need to put 4 clues onto this location, or onto this act. I have to be in Watley Ruins to do that. So Rex, it's going to be his job to get over there and throw the clues on it. I'm assuming that's how I get the esoteric formula. Let me just double check here with the scenario specific rules on how I'm supposed to move the brood to a random location. Because there are doubles of each location, and I set them aside. You will often be instructed to choose a random location. This should be done by shuffling together the 6 locations removed from the game during setup, the versions of each location in play not currently being used, and drawing 1 at random. Okay, well, these are double-sided, so I'm going to have to do this. I'm just going to give them a brief shuffle. All right, now I've closed my eyes so I cannot see, and we will stop shuffling, and I will cut it here. So, they are moving towards the blasted heath. Okay, so this guy's already in the blasted heath, so he doesn't move. This guy has to go over to here and then up. So this guy actually goes and is now, and that was at the end of the enemy phase. So I believe at this point now he is engaged with Rex. So let's put him like that. We'll move Dr. Francis down a little bit. Okay. So that was at the end of the enemy phase. That did not affect my upkeep phase at all. All right. So we placed our Doom on the agenda. We advanced the agenda if we've gotten 5 Doom. And then we each draw a card from the top of the encounter deck. So we'll start with player 1. You get 1. And you get 1. So let's see what it says. Avian Thrall. Okay. Prey lowest. So this one, if it starts hunting us, it would come after us. But for right now, and she's the lowest lower anyways, while Avian Thrall is being attacked using a ranged firearm or spell asset, it gets -3 fight. Okay, so I really want to get my hands on a firearm or a spell. It's quite tough to beat up by hand, which makes sense because it's flying. So enemies automatically just get engaged with you. If I become unengaged with it, it goes out to the location. And this one says Dissonant Voices. Revelation, put Dissonant Voices into play in your threat area. You cannot play assets or events. All right, at the end of the round, discard Dissonant Voices. Okay, so technically, with the Mythos phase, we started a new round. You skip the Mythos phase on the very first, why are these stuck together? Very first turn of the game. So now I have to get all the way through my turn and the enemy's turn before I can get rid of Dissonant Voices. Okay, so that essentially was a full round, walked through, holding your hand the whole way. So at this point, I'm going to start picking up the pace a little bit so we can get through this in a decent amount of time. But first, I'm going to double check on whether or not a card like Sneak Attack can actually damage the Brood of Yog-Sothoth, because that's very important at this point. So let me be right back. Okay, so the general consensus, it would appear, is that the Brood of Yog-Sothoth can only be attacked using the esoteric formula, and to do that we're going to need to advance the act. So we are in a little bit of trouble here. Essentially at this point we have we get to flip over everybody's cards back, and now I get to choose again as to who I want to activate first. So the reason I say I'm in a little bit of trouble here is that Rex Murphy doesn't really have much. I'd have to chuck a lot to get in a position. 2 cards. I'm okay with getting rid of Barricade to get that 1 symbol. I guess I'm okay with getting rid of Seeking Answers. Seeking Answers is really helpful if there is a location that has a really high shroud value, and so you can get into an adjacent location, do the investigate, and then pay this card to actually steal the clue from that location. So I'm thinking that's what we're going to have to go and do. I could also chuck Search for Truth because it's got this wild symbol on it. Right now we are tied. I'm tied with the Brood of Yog-Sothoth. It would be nice if I could exhaust him here, because then I could at least spend get 1 of my clues here from the Powder of Ibn Ghazi. That would reduce him down to a +2. You get +2 for this attack for each clue. Okay, so it's actually adding to our people. Okay, so I'd be at a 5 to his 6. It's not reducing him, it's giving to us. So let's go ahead and try and take care of that first. So I don't have anything in my hand that can assist with my agility tests. So I am going to go ahead and discard these 2 to get 2 more. And I think, unfortunately, just to try and make sure I don't get caught up this early in the game, I'm going to also Chuck search for truth. So that gives me a 6-3 advantage. So let's see what we get here. All right, 0. So we're good. We have, at this point, exhausted the brood of Yog-Sothoth. So he goes out here and he flips over because he's exhausted. All right. So then at this point, I can use my powder ability to put a clue on him. That's a free action, and I can only move 1 clue at a time, I believe. I mean, it just says move 1 clue. Doesn't say. I guess I can only do this action once per turn. Let me just double check here. Check my symbols. Free trigger. Does not cost an action to use this ability. So can I put more than 1 on him? I don't know. Maybe we should save our powder. Okay. So at this point, I definitely need to get the heck on out of here. So I think what I'm going to do is get over here. So spend my last 2 actions to move all the way over here with Jenny. Jenny has much better cards in her hand to be able to evade someone. Okay. So I think that's it. I didn't play any events, so dissonant voices can essentially be discarded. I don't plan on playing any events. Nothing else. I didn't need to spend any resources. I've got 2 clues on me. So at some point at the end of the enemy phase, okay, this is only investigators at Watley Ruins may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. Okay, so I might as well, since I'm here, put 2 of our clues onto the act, because I'm in Watley Ruins. Okay, so Rex Murphy is done. Let's look at what Jenny Barnes can do here. See, I could put out the Switchblade, but again, fighting the Brood is only going to help me. What is fast? A player may play a fast card without spending an action. Okay, so I could get Switchblade out because I do need to take care of the Avian Thrall here. So I'm getting +1 from Dr. Francis Morgan. I can put Avian Thrall out, or Switchblade out for 1 resource. So I've got +3 now, attack. And 3 and 3 is 6 to his 5. Do I want to beef that up at all? Yeah, I think I'm gonna chuck Backstab to get up to 7 to 5. So I'm looking for a positive one here. Yeah. Okay, -3. So that's going to put me below his 5. So I was unsuccessful in defeating this guy. Oh, he can only be attacked by using a ranged firearm or spell. So, okay. Let me put this back in my hand. I need to backtrack here. All right, so let's play this card, Prepared for the Worst. See if we can't get one of our ranged spells. So I guess I will go ahead and pay this to look at the top 9 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. Lucky Dice, Guard Dog, First Aid, Flashlight, Machete. There we go, 41 Derringer. Okay, so this is not her signature weapon, but it is at least one. Search the top 9 cards of your deck for a weapon asset and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. All right, so we got to add that to the hand. We got to shuffle these up real quick. And now I can get the 41 Derringer out for 3. Okay. Put 3 ammo on it. I get a +2 for this attack. Okay. All right, so I will go ahead and spend to get this out. That's going to cost me 3 more. I will go ahead and get rid of Backstab again, and we'll try this one more time. This should have started with 3 ammo on it. Since I'm using 1 now, I will go ahead and just put 2 on it, and we're going to get a skull. So the skull states -1 for each brood in play. Okay, so there's 2 broods in play. I was at 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, -2. All right, so I was able to do 1 damage to this fella here. So he's going to get 1. I tied, so I did not succeed by 2 or more. I am not defeating the enemy. Oh, it gets -3 fight if I'm using a ranged firearm spell. Okay. So I did succeed by 2 or more. All right. Because it was essentially a 2. And I had a 5. So he takes a second hit. And let's see here. I don't know if there's much else I can do. Yeah, because I spent 1 action to play, what was this? Prepared for the worst. And I spent an action to play my 41 Derringer, and my 3rd action to attack the Avian Thrall here. So I don't have any more actions to take. Okay, so let us move on to the, let's flip this over, move on to the enemy phase. Okay, so, and here's another question. Technically, this brood would become unexhausted during his phase, and this says, at the end of the enemy phase, move each brood. So I'm going to assume that it can become unexhausted and then move. But the Avian Thrall here is going to attack 1 and 1. I don't think I can split up the attacks. You know, I think one person has to take both of these, and that would turn Francis Morgan insane. So we lose him, so I'm just going to give them both to Jenny for now. Need to put this back in the bag. All right, so these guys don't move, but then essentially we need to do this whole thing again. Because Hunter's not going to move because he's already engaged with Jenny. All right, close the old eyes, and we will go here. 10-acre meadow. Okay, so this one will move to here, and this one has to come back around to here. Okay. All right, everybody resets. Boom, boom. Jenny gets 2, and Rex gets 1. If I can pull these out of here. 2 resources. Rex gets 1. And they each draw a card. Rex is going to get Think on Your Feet. So here I could have used this earlier. And Jenny is getting Unexpected Courage. So this is just a great card to add to your skill tests. Okay. All right. Our hand sizes are good. Let's move on to the Mythos phase. We'll put 1 up here on this act. Nothing else needs to advance. And we each draw a card. I went first with Rex. So we will do this and this. And Rex has Ruin of Destruction, Hazard, Revelation, If there are no investigators at the same location as a brood of Yog-Sothoth, ruin and destruction gain surge. Otherwise, okay, so basically we discard this and draw another card. And here we have a Whippoorwill, which is going to engage with Rex, Aloof, and Hunter. Each investigator at Whippoorwill's location gets -1 to all of its stuff. So it's not a very difficult enemy, but he reduces all of your stuff. Aloof, just so everybody's aware, an aloof enemy does not engage investigators of its own accord. An investigator may use an action or card ability to engage it. An investigator cannot attack an aloof enemy unless he or she is engaged with it. Okay, so it's just going to sit here at our location and make things difficult for us. So he does not engage with us. And then over here, Sorted and Silent Revelation. Attach Sorted and Silent to your location. At the end of the round, each investigator at attached location takes 1 horror. When the agenda advances, discard Sorted and Silent. Ooh. Okay, so lots going on here at this location. Let us kind of slide this under here so we remember. I know that a lot of people put their little cards, player cards, into standees just so that it gets them up out of the way. That may be something I need to look into. Okay, so let's start with Jenny Barnes here. She is going to need to go after the Avian Thrall again. Oh, man. Okay, so again, I have 1, 2, 3, I have 6, and since I'm going to be using the 41 Derringer, I'll go ahead and spend that resource. He's down to a 2, so I'm at 6 to 2. Question is, do I want to ensure that I'm going to succeed by 2 or more? No, I'm not going to spend any additional cards. I'm just going to draw. And we've got this again, which we know is -2. So 6 minus 2 is 4. And he's down to a 2. So again, I defeated it by 2 or more. So this guy has been defeated. So we'll just put him off to the side here. Oh no, he can go up here. He's been defeated. After you defeat an enemy, I can exhaust Francis Morgan to draw a card. And I get Guard Dog here. So that might be helpful just to throw out there. Oh, let's see. Do I want to... Can I just attack this thing? An aloof enemy does not engage investigators of its own accord. An investigator may use an action or a card ability to engage it. Now, fight or engage at your location. Do I have to engage first as a complete action? Let's see. Engage. The investigator is using this action engages one enemy that is at his or the to engage an enemy. The investigator places that enemy in a threat. Fight. The investigator uses this action, attacks one enemy that is at his or her location. Combat test. Okay, so I believe I can just say I'm going to attack this Whippoorwill. So that might be the best course of action here for me. So what I'm going to do is actually play my Switchblade here. I will attack the Whippoorwill. He's only got a thing of 2, and I've got 5. I need to put this back in. -1, so we are fine. This guy is defeated, so he goes up there. Yeah, so that was 3. attacking the thrall, playing my switchblade, and then attacking the whippoorwill. All right, so Jenny's done, but that's good. She kind of cleared the way for Rex to do his thing. All right, so what we want to do here is just gain a bunch of clues. So, as many as possible. So, I am going to complete an investigation here. I've got 5 lore, and I'm going to add deduction. Now, if I am successful, I can discover an additional clue. If I'm successful by 2 or more, I can actually gain 2 additional clues, so 3 total clues. So this is giving me 7 to 3. So testing 7 to 3 minus 1, so that was 6 to 3. That was successful by 2 or more, so I actually can claim 3 of these tokens here, and I can put these 2 up here, which will essentially push the act forward. So we can flip this over now. And it says, check the campaign log. If Dr. Armitage survived the Dunwich Legacy, or is Dr. Armitage sacrificed? So let's look at my campaign log here. And Dr. Armitage survived. So I get to read this top part. There, Armitage sighs, a breath of relief, jotting down the last phrases of the formula. I have translated the last of it. He shudders as he hands you the script, the words conjuring forth memories of his battle with the creature. I hope this is the last time I'll have to read it, he admits, but if we do nothing, the end result will be much, much worse. Each investigator puts into play 1 set-aside esoteric formula. Okay, and then we're going to advance here. So each investigator puts into play, all right, so we essentially get this ability now for the remainder of the game. And then we'll move on to Act 2. They must be destroyed. With the formula in hand, you finally have the means to destroy the creatures wreaking havoc in Dunwich, but only if you can survive long enough. Defeat as many brood of Yog-Sothoth enemies as you can. If there are no copies of brood Yog-Sothoth in play or set aside, advance. Okay, so I actually, let me double check here how many I had to set aside based on only 1 person had been sacrificed, so I had to set aside 3 copies. So I have to defeat this 5 of these things now over the course of the game here. So, okay, so that was 1 action. What else do we want to do here? I don't really need to obtain clues except to put on the brood. So let's see here. I could move and then try and may place 1 of his or her clues on the abomination enemy in 10-acre meadow. Group limit once per game. You set aside a bait, and each investigator in 10-acre may place 1 of his or her clues. So I actually kind of want to wait to do this. This one I can, but technically Jenny doesn't have anything. So maybe it would be best to use my second action to move and my third action to try and exhaust it. At the same time, I can put my clue that I have up there. I have fast play here. Play when an enemy would spawn at your location. Immediately move to a connecting location. Okay, so this is not what I thought it was. All right. So this would simply give me an additional bonus. Ooh, and this here says, after you succeed at a skill test by 2 or more while investigating, discover 1 clue at your location. So I actually clean sweep that location. That's why Rex is such a powerhouse. So, really, I don't know what to do here. Other than possibly draw an additional card and gain a location, or gain a resource. So let's draw a card here. All right, flashlight. This can help lower the shroud value at a location. That's helpful to have. And then I will use the Necronomicon action to gain 2 resources instead of simply just gaining 1. So Rex is doing pretty good now, moving forward. All right, so he's done. Let's move on to the enemy phase. There's nothing else attacking here. These guys don't hunt. But at the end of the enemy phase, we need to move them about. So, again, we'll shuffle these up, close my eyes, and we're going to send them to Dunwich Village. Okay, so this guy, they're both at Dunwich Village now. So maybe I can move into here and hope that they come this direction next. So, let's think about that. All right, let's flip these back over. That's at the end of the round, so everybody has to take a horror. You get a horror, and you get a horror. Okay, and both sides are going to get a card. Teamwork means I can share stuff. Old Book of Lore. This one's nice. Drawer, the investigator searches the top 3 cards of his deck for cards, draws it, shuffles. So that one's handy. This one's also giving me a bonus of the thought action or asset, skill, whatever you want to call it. So we need some. You get 1, and usually Jenny's the one who's got the abundance of resources, but Rex has it this time. Okay, so we are advancing the agenda again, unfortunately, or the agenda. And who went first? Jenny went first that time. So she is getting Towering Beasts, Peril. Attached to a brood enemy in play. If that enemy is at your location, take 1 damage. Attached enemy gets +1 fight and +1 health. Okay, so I guess we'll attach it to the one who we've already at least done some amount of damage to by putting clues on it. And then over here, we have, if there are no abomination enemies, there are. Otherwise, choose an abomination enemy, heal all damage from that enemy, and attach Altered Beast to it. When you enter attached enemy's location, take 1 horror. Okay, so I'm just going to put all the bad stuff, stack all the bad stuff on this guy here. So we can just try and deal with him and get him out of the way. Okay, so we now are back to our investigator phases. And what do we want to do? I think Rex is simply going to move and try and gain clues, but we also want Jenny to do that. So let's see here. Jenny's got teamwork. Investigators at your location may give or trade any number of items, item assets, or ally assets, or resources among one another. Now, this is a free event, so I can give her the flashlight. All right, so Jenny's going to start. We're going to play teamwork here, and I'm going to give Jenny the flashlight, which is going to allow her to, I'm going to put this down here off camera, but it's essentially going to get 3 resources. She's going to play that for 2. Also thinking maybe I will give Jenny 2 of my resources here because she seemed to be a little low. Okay. Nah, maybe just 1. All right, so Jenny played an event. She put up her flashlight, and her last action is going to be to move to 10 Acre Meadows. Okay, that also brings us out of the sorted and silent location. Okay. So, now on to Rex. Rex wants to move as well. What does he want to do here? He's going to move. That's 1. Let's go ahead and play Art Student. Art Student simply just grants us a clue from the location. And, yeah, she's basically cannon fodder from this point forward. and I will spend my third action to also attempt an investigation. So using the Necromonicon, yeah, I don't want to steal them all, actually. So I don't want to do all this other stuff. I'm simply going to go straight at it, 5 to 2. Oh, and the automatic fail. All right. That was easy. Straightforward. Okay, so that was our 3 actions. Rex is now exhausted. Let's move on. Enemy phase. These guys don't do anything. They don't have the hunter keyword. So now we need to see where they are going to move to. So we shuffle this up randomly. They're going to go to Watley Ruins. So this is actually somewhat helpful. Unfortunately, they're both going to be here. So, you know, what we can do here is engage these guys like this. Actually, I want to put him engaged with Rex and you engaged here. Okay. All right. So now, okay. So let's flip everybody back over. Gain our card. Over here we have Drawn to the Flame. Draw the top card of the encounter deck, and then discover 2 clues at your location. And Jenny's going to get Evidence. Fast play. After you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue at your location. That's not bad. Let's pass out some resources here. 1, 2. And actually, I forgot to remove 2 for the art student, so I'll go ahead and do that. Everybody's readied. Just make sure we separate these here. Okay. And Mythos phase, we are now 1 away from advancing the agenda. And who went first that time? Jenny went first. All right, so Jenny is going to have to deal with Sordid and Silent. Okay, so let's slide this under here. And Rex is got a Lupin Thrall. Spawn farthest location from you. Okay. That would be over here. Prey, lowest, hunter, retaliate. Okay. All right. So who do we want to start with here? I think we want to start with Jenny. So Jenny can gain a clue. She's got to exhaust this guy first, gain a clue, and then we're going to use this action to put says may place 1 of his or her clues on an abomination. Okay, so all right, so Jenny, let's start with Jenny here. Jenny needs to exhaust first so she doesn't take any penalty. So we're going to play Manual Dexterity. If this test is successful, draw 1 card. This is going to put her at, let's see here, a 5 to this monster's 3. Do I want to throw in 1 more? We want to make sure we're successful here. So I will play Unexpected Courage. That's going to give us 7 to 3. Pretty much only the instant fail could kill us here. -4. We're still successful. Whew. All right, so this guy is now exhausted, and he gets put back up here. All right, so that's good. Okay, so now we can play. What can we play here? See, I really want to play Sneak Attack, but I don't think that, you know, it says cannot be damaged or attacked except using the ability on the esoteric formula. So, all right. So now I need to gain a clue from this location. I want to, I'm going to play this. This is giving me a 5 to the location's 2. All right, -4 is a miss. So I need to do it again. So I'm going to play this one. I'm now at a 4 to 2. Oh, wait, no. I should have spent my flashlight. That would have given me -2 to the location. So that would have made me successful. Okay. All right. Okay, now, as a free action, we can both spend a clue and put it onto an abomination at this location. All right, so the brood here is up. Okay, and this also said, when you enter attached enemy's location, or vice versa, take 1 horror. Okay, so we both have to take 1 horror, because it entered our location. All right, the last thing I could do here is attempt to attack the brood. Let's see, I would be at a 3 plus 6, so I'd be at a 9 to his 6. So I think we are definitely going to go ahead and attempt to do that. 6 to 9. I don't have anything I can add to that. -2, we are successful. Okay, so this is 1 damage on this guy. Remember, he's got 3. All right, good. So Jenny is done, but I feel like that was helpful. Okay, all right, so now moving over to Rex. He can spend an action to put this on this guy from his powder. He can spend 1 resource here to get +2 thought, so he's up to 5. This is giving him 6 to 11 to the brood 6. Oops, got to put that back in. All right, so this is an automatic +2. You may instead choose to automatically. No, I don't want to fail. All right. Unfortunately, I don't get to add additional stuff onto him. So there's that, and he's a +1 health. Okay, so we're gonna have to go again. I'm gonna spend another resource to get +2. So we are same scenario. All right, that's another success. And so we have to hit him 1 more time. Do this again. So our 3 actions were simply to attack the brood and -1. So this guy has been defeated. Okay. So move all this off. I'm assuming this all goes away. This guy goes up here. I'm not worried about counting. Well, no, I should. He's a victory point. Any of these other ones victory points? No. Okay. I got +1 fight, but even at -4, I was still victorious. And these all go up here. Okay. So we're good there. We've defeated 1 of them. That guy's exhausted, so he's not going to attack. Everybody's exhausted at this location now. So moving on to the enemy phase, he simply readies. Does an enemy, once they ready, attach to us? Let's see. Resolve the following steps in order. If there are no enemies in play, blah, blah, blah. Some enemies have the hunter keyword. Each such enemy moves once to a connecting location. Exhausted hunter enemies and hunter enemies at a location with 1 or more investigators do not move. If a hunter enemy moves to a location with 1 or more investigators, each ready engaged enemy makes an attack when an enemy attacks. At any time a ready, non-engaged enemy is at the same location as an investigator, it engages that investigator and is placed in the investigator's threat area. Lead investigator chooses. Okay, so yes, he's going to ready and he's going to join us. So I'm going to put him down here with Jenny. All right. Okay. So that's all we're going to do there. We get to flip these guys back over. Boom. Boom. We have to take a horror now. Actually, I'm going to give this horror to the art student. And again, I don't want to get rid of Dr. Francis yet, so we're still accumulating horror over here. Everybody gets some resources. You get 2, so now Jenny's back up to having a bunch. You get 1. Rex is going to gain another art student, and Jenny is going to gain a knife. All right, so good weapon to have. All right, so you can see here. Okay. All right. I forgot to move the brood of Yog-Sothoth. At the end of enemy phase, each brood brood Sothoth enemy once toward a random location. Okay, so I guess he will become unengaged with us here if it moves. All right, we're going to the Devil's Hop Yard, which means it actually has to move back here to Dunwich. All right, I'm assuming that's how we play that. It doesn't say only move unengaged enemies. So Jenny went first that turn, and then Rex. The creature's tracks. You must either choose one, take 2 horror, or spawn a set-aside brood of Yog-Sothoth at a random location. Okay, well, we need to get these guys out anyways, so let's get this over with. At a random location, so we come back to this deck here, and we shuffle these up, and it is gonna be 10 Acre Meadow. Okay, so it's gonna come, it will engage here with Jenny, and yeah. Rex now gets this one. Attached to a brood enemy in play, it gets +1 fight and +1 health, so I'm gonna attach it to you. All right, that's it. No, we needed to advance this. This gets pushed. All right. So this one says, an old pickup truck rolls to a stop along the weathered trails of Dunwich. The driver, Joe Osborne, calls out to you through a shadowed driver's side window, the truck's engine still running. It's over at the Eric's farm, he shouts. Dunn blasted their place apart, poor Henry and Martha. You ask Osborne for the location of the Eric's homestead, and it confirms your worst fear. For that attack to have occurred recently, there must be more of the monsters on the loose. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Spawn one of the set-aside brood of Yog-Sothoth enemies at a random location, if able. Okay. Then it's going to say, once in a while, a wind sweeping up out of the cold spring glen would bring a touch of ineffable fetor to the heavy night air. But the looked-for terror did not appear. Whatever was down there in the glen was biding its time, and Armitage told his colleagues it would be suicidal to try to attack in the dark. That's directly from H.P. Lovecraft. At the end of the enemy phase, move each. So, same thing. All right. So, we need to shuffle this back into here. All right, so that's shuffled back in, and we need to pick another location. So now we're going to have 3 total broods out on the board. All right, Watley's Ruins. Okay, so you're going to go right there. All right, and this advanced, so these can get discarded. All right, good. Ooh, I forgot to move this guy. He would have moved right there because that's the only direction he can go. Okay, I think we're all caught up now. Back over to here. Jenny needs to go first, and she needs to do some fancy footwork action. Is it worth it to draw a card? Or she could just go right at this guy, but this guy doesn't have anything on him. And the group limit of once per game, so I cannot put any additional clues on him. I need to exhaust him to use the powder first, so let's just go for it, 3 to 3, and hope we get a positive one. Or should I draw a card in order to... Do I draw a card and hope that that one is going to help me out? Yeah, I guess so. All right, so let's draw this. And it is overpower. Okay, so that's not going to help. Wrong skills. Which is, do I draw another card? Yeah. All right, let's draw another card here. Vicious Blow. This is not helpful either. All right, so I'm just going to attempt to go for it. 3 to 3. I have nothing that can boost this. So I'm looking for a positive number here. -3 is not going to cut it, so I'm at 0. So I did not evade, and that was a pretty useless turn for Jenny there. Okay, Rex. What can Rex do? All right, so Rex he's got this, that's going to give him 4 to 3. I have no other abilities. I really need to get him exhausted first. So let's spend a resource here to draw a card. Okay, shortcut. Okay, so fast play. Play only during your turn. Choose an investigator at your location. Move that investigator to a connecting location. So I can move Jenny down here. But then Brood would just come to me. And I want to invade him. But all right, so I'm going to spend these two here. This is my second action to try and do an evade. I am 5 to 3. -1. Okay, so we were successful. All right, so this guy is now going to be up here, and he's exhausted. I can put a powder on him. So now I would be up to... Oh... 1, 2, 3. I could spend these for 4, 5. 6. I can spend a resource to get to 7, 8. I guess I could go ahead and put my other powder on him. So I'm at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to his 6. Do I want to risk it? Yeah, let's go for it. Okay. All right, 9 to 6, and we've drawn a -2, so we are successful in putting 1 token on that guy. And that's gonna be it. All right. So moving on to the enemy phase, this guy is going to hunt, so he comes down here. Then these guys don't move. This guy becomes unexhausted, And we will move him, I guess, over to here, back to Jenny. So he doesn't get to attack. Now I need to move everybody, or all the broods. All right, Dunwich Village. So he's going to exhaust and come this way. He stays there. This guy, however, now I have the choice. I could move him down to here, or I could move him up here. I'm actually going to move him down there, just to give myself a breather for a minute. Okay, so nobody's attacking. I can flip you back over. Jenny's got lots of resources now. She's also gaining, search for Izzy, treachery, revelation. After searching for Izzy, attach searching for Izzy to the location furthest from you. You need to take a double action to investigate there. If not, I have to take a mental trauma. Okay, so search for Izzy goes up there. That wasn't helpful. And Rex here is, I've got a plan. This isn't really going to help. +1 damage for this attack for each clue you have. Again, I can't use fight actions. So, I can only use the S attack formula. All right. Okay, who went first? Jenny went first, and then Rex. We need to advance the agenda. And Frozen in Fear. Put Frozen in Fear into play in your threat area. The first time you perform one of the following actions, move, fight, or evade. Each round, it costs 1 additional action. At the end of your turn, test 3 to discard it. Okay. And over here, we have another Whippoorwill, which is simply going to go up in this location. So, and it gives everybody -1. So, what do we want to attempt to do here? I would really love to come down here and see if this is going to give me the ability to put some tokens on this guy. I don't have anything that can boost my move. Y'all saw the enemy once towards the village. I don't want to do that. So let's draw a card as our first action here. Okay, emergency cache, that's not doing us any good. And again, the only directions I can move are over to here, down to here, over here. I cannot go up here, which I would like to be able to do too. I could investigate, but I'm at a 2-2 without turning away any other cards. I think what I am going to do while I'm here is put Guard Dog out for 3 resources. Okay. And last but not least, I don't really want to run in there and just to be set up for an attack by the brood. Also moving. So yeah, let's attempt an investigate action. I'm gonna discard sneak attack to get me back to 3-2, so I have a +1 advantage, and I'm gonna draw an instant fail. All right, so Jenny's done. All right, what does Rex want to do? Rex really doesn't have much he can do either. He doesn't really have any way to help him evade the brood. So let's draw a card. Treachery. Put Rex's curse into play in your threat area. When you would succeed at a skill test, return the revealed chaos token to the bag and reveal a new one. If the effect causes you to fail the test, shuffle Rex's curse into your deck. Ugh. All right, so everybody's treachery has come out now. Let's see here. All right, let's draw another card. Play only if there is a clue on your location. Draw 3 cards. That's an event that I'd have to pay for. My last thing is going to be to move. I'm going to move over here in hopes that maybe I can draw this guy back up here. So I can do this event and get rid of one of these guys. So yeah, let's hope for that. All right, so he's done. Unfortunately now, this guy's going to come and he's going to move, and then he's going to attack Jenny for 1 and 1. Gosh. For 1 and 1. I am going to let the guard dog take this, and attack deals damage to the guard dog. The deals 1 damage to the attacking enemy. So I lose my guard dog, but that's exactly why I put him out there. So we can do that now. Okay. And then none of the rest of these guys move, so let's see where they are going. Ten-acre meadow, of course. So everybody's coming and going to be attached to Jenny. Does Jenny get all 3 of these? Let me double check that. Okay, so yes, all of these broods now are going to be engaged with Jenny. Luckily, none of them attack now. So, and I ran Rex out of the room. So, yeah, this is going to be a very rough next round. I don't have high hopes for Jenny. So, let's see what we can do here. Everybody's going to get their resources. And a card. Okay, that's not helpful. Again, this isn't helpful. I mean, these might be helpful if I was allowed to regularly attack the brood. But obviously, I may need to replay this scenario having adjusted my deck a little bit, but you're not really supposed to be adjusting your deck in between games. So, and you can fail forward. So that may be what happens here. All right. Let's see. We've done all of this. Let's advance the agenda. And who went first? Jenny gets a card. It's very crowded over here. Very, very crowded. Okay. Cannot play any events. Discard dissonant voices at the end of your turn. All right, so that's fine. And then over here, we've got Revelation. You must either take 2 horror or spawn a set-aside brood of Yog-Sothoth at a random location. I will simply take 2 horror because we've got enough on our plate right now. All right. So now it is back to being our turn here. I guess we'll go with Jenny first. So let's see here. I could discard Switchblade, but I don't feel like I really need to. Yeah, I'm definitely going to play Vicious Blow here and Overpower. Okay, so I'm going to attack the Lupin Thrall first. I get 1, 2, 3, base of 3. No, because I'm at the Whippoorwill's location, so base of 2, so I'm at 5. Plus this is going to give me 8 to 4. And as long as I'm successful, I should be able to defeat this guy because of Vicious Blow. And we get this. This thing says -3. Nope, it wasn't against a brood, so we're good. This guy is now defeated, so he's at least out of the picture. All right, so that... Oh, I forgot to test 3 thought. So let me just go ahead and do that. 3 to 3. I need a positive number here. Ooh, and I got it. All right, so Frozen in Fear gets to be discarded. Okay, so now I have 2 actions. I need to attempt to evade, but that's not going to happen. Really, I don't think. Gosh. I have nothing to help me evade. So I could take a shot at one of these 2 guys, say this guy. I would be at a 5, have nothing to add, and he'd be at a 6. So let's just go ahead and do it. Yeah, 5 to 6. I need a positive number here, and I got the skull. That's never good. -1. Yeah, that's a lot for each brood in play. So I definitely failed. Okay, so now I'm going to attempt to evade this guy. 3 to 3. I need a 0 or a positive number here, and we've got 0. Okay, so we were actually able to evade this guy. He's going to come up here and go back here. So that was my 3 actions for Jenny. Rex now is going to spend an action to move. He's going to put a powder up on this guy. So powder essentially is now done. I'm just going to clean up some space here. All right. So let's see here. And I did learn that massive, these guys are technically engaged with both of us now that we're both in this area. So, yeah, definitely going to be getting rid of some allies here. Okay, so I moved, and now I can attempt to fight one of these guys. Again, I have a base of 3, 5 if I go after this guy, and I can throw this in there. So now I'm at a 6 to 6, so I'm tied. Again, you set bait against a live animal. Each investigator intent may place one of his or her clues on an abomination enemy. This can only be done once per game. Okay. All right, so 6 to 6. And we get this. When you would succeed at a skill test. All right, I have failed. And reveal a new. If this effect causes you to fail. All right, so we don't shuffle Rex's treachery back in there. All right, so I'm going to go again. Just because. Ooh, I can spend. No. Spend a resource here for higher education. 6 to 6 minus 3. Yeah, that still would have failed. So now I'm at a 7 to 6. And this is going to fail me again. So, failed twice. All right. So, again, not much we can do here. Okay, so this guy becomes unexhausted. Technically, he's going to do that. But then these 2 guys both attack. So, I'm definitely going to have one of them go after my 2 allies. And that would mean I still need to take 2 and 2. Here and here. So this one's going to become 4, and that one becomes a 6, and this one's going to become a 3. This one's going to become a 3 as well. Get rid of these 3. And then over here, I need 2 and 2. So this one's also going to become a 6. I'm out of, nope. 6 and 2. This is his first 2 attack. Okay. All right. Oh, and I forgot the whippoorwill's freaking here. So I definitely failed all those. Not even close. Okay. I can discard this now. Didn't really do anything. And we are very close to dying here. All right, so that now we can hopefully, maybe they'll get out of our location. We've been moving them around no matter what. So let's all right, Blasted Heath. That's going to take everybody from here to Dunwich Village. Okay. So we get a break. All right. So they've all moved. We've been smacked down. We can unexhaust everybody here. Gain our resources. Gain our cards. Okay, another overpower card, not helpful. Encyclopedia. Choose an investigator at your location that gives +2 to a skill of your choice until the end of the phase. Ooh, that could be helpful. Okay. So, now, yep, we need to advance the agenda. And each draw a card. Jenny went first again. So Jenny's getting, if there are no investigators at the same location as Brood, this gains Surge. Okay, so she gains this, it gains Surge. And this, Frozen and Fear. Okay. This one is test 3 for each point you fail by, take 1 horror. Okay. All right, 3 to 3. Certainly not giving anything up now. Okay, I definitely failed. So I failed by 2. So I need to take 2 horror. So I'm at 8 out of my 9. All right. So again, this does not look good for us. Does not look good for us at all. Okay. Let's see here. What do we want to do now? I want to figure out what's down here. So let's go ahead and move. It's going to cost me 2 actions to move down here. We're going to put 2 clues at this location. Each enemy in Cold Springs Glen gets -1 evade. Okay. You lure the creature into the dense tree cover and it becomes tangled. Investigators in Cold Spring Glen may, as a group, place up to 2 of their clues on an abomination, group limit once per game. Okay, so I don't think I can bring them in here, but this would be a good location to sit and hang out in because they can be evaded easily. Okay, so let's see here. And I have Rex. Okay, Jenny gets 1 more action here. What is she gonna do? Let's have her place up to 2 of their clues. So Rex has 2 of those clues. So let's draw a card with Jenny's last action. Dynamite Blast. Unfortunately, choose either your location or a connecting location. Deal 3 damage to each enemy and to each investigator at the chosen location. Unfortunately, I don't think I can use this. Again, I'll have to double check. I've got the money for it. I feel like that would be a great use of my card. Why wouldn't it damage that? Anyways. All right, so Rex is also going to move. And then he's going to do some investigating. So we are at 5. So I'm going to play this. That puts me at 7 to 3. We get this, which we know is -3. So I still passed. Not by double digits, but that's fine. I'm also going to play Art Student here for 2. She's going to discover this other clue. And, oh no. No, I didn't want to play Art Student. I wanted to play Encyclopedia for 2. All right, so I got to put this clue back. And, yeah, I think I will also draw a card. Okay, Emergency Cache. Not helpful. Okay, so enemy actions now. Whippoorwill does not move. Broods are simply going to, let's figure out where their random location is. Ooh, Cold Spring Glen. Okay, so unfortunately they're all going to come down here. And, ooh, let's test 3 and 3. Ooh, success again. She keeps getting her successes on those. Okay, so I'm going to pile these 3 guys up in the middle here. And we need to remember that each one has a -1 evade. So they're down to 2 evade each. Okay, so they just are going to sit there for the next turn. And, Ooh, I forgot I needed to reveal a second thing there. What would this have made it? This one would have made it reveal another token. If you fail this test, take 1 horror. And I would have succeeded automatically. All right, so I still have that. Okay. Yep. Let's gain resources. Jenny's just full on now. Rex is going to get, ooh, after you draw a card, discard that card and exhaust to gain 3 resources, but he's +2. And Jenny is getting another flashlight. That's not super helpful. Let's advance the agenda here. And Jenny went first again. And Rex. Okay, the creature's track. Take 2 horror. I cannot afford to take 2 horror on either person. So we are going to bring out this last brood. And it's coming in at Blasted Heath. Okay. All right. And Rex here. Great. Spawn at furthest location from you, which is way up here. Okay. All right. Yeah. Moving forward. Let's see what we can do here. We need to evade. Well, we don't really need to evade, actually. We could just go for it here. Place up to 2 clues on an abomination. All right, who's got this one? Yeah, we need to do this guy. So we're going to do that. It's free action. All right, so Jenny, need to figure out, can I use Dynamite Blast on Brood of Yog-Sothoth? Cannot be damaged or attacked except using the ability. Yeah, I feel like this card is just useless. So Jenny's going to use this here to attack this guy. She is at a, this is 6, 9, 10. It's 6. So 10 to 6. This one says -1, so that's 4. So we're still successful. No, it's got +1 fight. So it was 7. I was at 10, 6, 9, 10. Yeah. It was at 7, so I was -4, so I was not successful. All right, so let's go again. Now I'm at 9 to 7. I don't have anything else I can chuck. Okay, so I'm successful, definitely successful. So it's going to take 1 hit. And yeah, let's go one more time. 9 to 7. -1 is still success. Okay, so it's gone. No, it's got 2 more. Okay, so Rex now. Rex is going to, yeah. So here's at 9. I spent a resource to get 2 more. So he's at 11 to 7. All right. So there's 1 more. And we'll do that one more time. 11 to 7. 11 minus 4 is 7. Okay, so this guy's been defeated. We take all this stuff off. This card will come over here. That goes up there. Okay, and last, not least, I guess we will try and hit this guy. And I will use Dr. Henry Armitage to gain 2 more. So this is additional 4, 7 to his 6. And now it's auto fail. Okay. All right. Maybe I should have tried to evade. Maybe. Okay. So unfortunately, this is going to be the downfall of Jenny. Because, yeah, Jenny's going to take 4 more horror. That'll put her over the edge. So all of this is going to disappear. Jenny has gone insane. Remove all this stuff. This can go back up here. All of this goes back over there. All right. And then over here, I can sacrifice the art student to take 1 set of damage, but unfortunately, I am at 8, 9, and I have nowhere else to put this. So Rex has also he's also gone insane. Okay. So I was unsuccessful, but that does not necessarily mean I cannot advance in the story. So, super spoiler alert. I'm about to read you the fail forward action. All of this stuff goes over here. Higher education should go on the bottom. Yeah, esoteric formula over here. Okay. All right. So, run away now if you don't want to hear what the resolution is. But this says, if no resolution was reached, each investigator resigned or was defeated, go to resolution 1. You did all you could to stop the rampaging monsters, but there were more of them than you realized, and you weren't able to slay them. Exhausted and terrified, you retreat to Zebulon's home and hope to survive the night. In my campaign log, I record that 3 brood escaped into the wild. If an investigator's deck contains the powder, remove it. Okay, I'll have to remove that. And each investigator earns experience equal to the victory value, which is just 2. And that's it. So we will continue on. I will continue on. I'm not going to play through any more spoilers for you, but you can see how you can fail forward in this scenario. Anyways, I know this video has gone on long enough. Hopefully this gave you just a general idea of how the game plays. It can be very brutal. This one was especially brutal because my people were not set up to take on these guys the way you needed to take them on. They were meant for investigating and fighting. So obviously, if I played through this entire campaign again, I might think of that in the future. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you would like to take part in the rest of our half marathon to Halloween, please consider subscribing to the channel. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.